the real world. Let's get it. Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it. Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.
Hello, 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 and good morning. Welcome to another Flight Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're here again, Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Welcome to another great episode. As always, we got another great, powerful show to you today. We're going to talk about something that I know you always said, something's dear to my heart. Yes, this is another thing that is very dear to my heart. We talking legal today, guys, and we have a phenomenal guest on, and she's going to bring us some of her expertise, what she does, how she do it, how she's trying to transform the legal field and industry in totally trying to get a new understanding, writing a new narrative. She is doing it, y'all. But of course, I can't do this by myself. I got my co-host, but before I bring her on, I want to get these housekeeping tips out for all of you all that are joining us either live, hashtag replay. Please put in the comment sections where you're tuning in from, because we global. We go international. We want to know where you're tuning in from. Drop your comments in there. Tell us how you like what we're doing. You know what I mean? Give us a heads up. Give us a rating. Give us a Google rating. Let us know that you're loving us, that we're feeling the love, because we're definitely doing it for you. It's just real talk. But again, here is my wonderful co-host, the marvelous Hallie Brown. What's up, lady?
Hey, what?
We got the hay back, y'all. We got the hay back. She tried to do a little something last week, tried to
And
be new, but we got the hay back.
I'm
What's going
trying,
on?
but it's gloomy over here. It's super crazy.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a
Yeah.
nor'easter again.
Yes.
But of course, you can't let the weather's gloom bring down your shine. So, let's just
No.
keep the energy up as always. How
That's
you
how it
doing?
is on the East Coast. I'm doing good. We had a terrible rainstorm last night. I thought the roof was gonna come off. You know what I mean? All of my Mississippi people, yes, that's where my family's born and raised. Hernando, I'm not sure how far that is. They from Jackson and Tupelo, so you can kind of figure that out on the map where my people's from. But yes, it was storming and raining here last night, and I thought the roof was gonna come off the house. That's how bad it was coming down. And I was like, yo, it got pitch black about 3 o'clock yesterday. So I was like, something's coming. And then it poured down like about 8. But we all good. It's not sunny today. It's still looking gloomy. More rain is on the way. But we bringing the sunshine today. We talking legal. We talking legal. And we got a phenomenal guest coming on today. You talk about somebody can go. I had a Zoom chat with her. Oh my God. She is full of excitement, joy, love, all the nines, everything all together. She's excitable, and she's excited about what she's doing and what she's doing in the legal
Yeah.
industry, how she's trying to change the narrative. Because I'm on that same tip. So we definitely saw eye to eye, all four of mines against her too. We saw eye to eye. We saw eye to eye, and we feeling it for a lot of ways. But I'm gonna bring her to the stage. I'm gonna bring her Eda Rosa. Come on to the stage, girlfriend. What's going
What?
on? See, she got that morning energy. She got that morning energy from the door. She got
I
that
got two
morning.
toddlers, okay? My mornings start like at 5 in the morning, so this is
Yeah.
like afternoon for me.
Oh man, what's going on this morning, Ed? How you doing?
You know what? I just shared a post this morning on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
It was really eye-opening for me. It just happened yesterday, so it was really recent for me. I was sitting on my bed and I was having, I don't know, just one of those mornings where you're just like in thought and you're just trying to figure stuff out and you're just so overwhelmed of what life is bringing you. And my little boy, God bless him, I always say that he came to save my life because he's just the most genuine, like at that age, they're so pure. Like they don't
Yeah,
know what lying is or manipulating or any of that, right? And
exactly.
he's 3 and he just turned 3 in May, and he comes into my room and I'm just sitting there, I'm putting my shoes on, I'm getting ready, I'm about to drop him off, and I'm just, he dresses himself up. He's super independent, always has been. And so he comes in, he goes, Mommy! And, he shows me his outfit. And, of course, that kind of changes your mood and really takes you off that mode. And
Yeah.
he comes and he goes, in Spanish, he tells me, Hey, Mommy, why do you always have that ring? And he's talking about my engagement ring. And I go, oh, well, Daddy gave it to me a long time ago. And he, just to show his love and to show that, you just like want to be with me forever and that he loves me very much. Trying to explain it to a 3-year-old, right? And he
Right.
goes and he tells me, "Okay, Mommy." And then he like goes, disappears, comes back, and then he brings me this ring, which is my daughter's like little fashion ring, and he puts it on my right hand and he goes, "Me too." And I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, we as an entrepreneur for almost 5 years now, you always got that mom guilt, right? You always like, oh my God, am I spending enough time with them? Am I taking
mhm.
away time from them? I know how important it is to have a role in their life, especially at such an innocent age. They always say that the first 7 years of your life are the most important, for the foundation of your mental state and your physical and emotional and feelings and stuff. So I do a lot of sociology research and a lot of psychology research because of that. And it was just nice and validating. So the whole purpose of the post was, feedback and constructive criticism. But I like to always add like a little personal touch, right? It's like, okay, so I am doing something right. So that was validating. So that was, and you always need that. You always need that little like, okay, I am doing something good. Like I am, he still does love me, and I'm still present enough for him to feel that way. So, little constructive criticism and feedback in a personal way always, works. So
That's always
Love
good. That's
that.
something to bright up your day. And it's amazing thing about kids, right? I don't think we really get the facet and purpose behind them, the joy that they bring. Also, they can bring pain as well. But I mean, all of that outshines everything because for some reason or other, God's giving you that connection where they always know what to do or what to say. Like I've never, and they just have this innateness with them, especially toward their parents that they
Mhm.
know. Because I mean, I can just remember my kids coming in sometime when they best I think I'd be just at a lowest point, or I just really be dealing with something. And they would say something out their mouth or come in and it would be so on point to like what was going on that I was like, God, I just thank you for my kids. So I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that. Charlene got Shadow. Shadow probably does that for Charlene.
Don't make
Shadow.
fun of my cat, my fur baby. Don't make fun of
Oh,
my fur
I have a
baby.
fur baby too. He's my
Ah,
favorite. Everybody asks me, look, I even have a ring that looks like him. So, a quick story. Everybody's like, "Oh, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?" And I was like, "My dog." Like, I had him first before any of my children. So I'm like,
See,
and he will like everybody knows that he comes first. Like that's
exactly.
just how it
It's
is.
just that's just what it is. It's what it is.
Mhm. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how many children. I mean, I already stopped. I'm done. But it doesn't matter how many children I'll ever have. My dog will always come first, and it is what it is at this point. Just accept it.
oh man.
Now,
It's just
you're because you're so passionate and you're passionate about your work. Tell us a little bit about what got you started in being that passionate, especially having you create a podcast about it.
Yeah. So, okay, wow, we're going way back now because I was about probably my daughter's age. I was 4 or 5. I was in elementary school, and this was back in probably the early 90s. I'm trying not to age myself so much, but so I was like in the early 90s, and it was in Florida. They have this thing. I don't know if they have it nationwide, but it's like career day where
yeah.
the parents come in and they talk about what they do for a living. And, you always had your typical, police officers and firefighters and everybody's like, ooh, But then there was this one woman, which for me was impactful. She was the only mom there. Everybody else were men. So as a young Latina woman, trying to find her way in this madness at such a young age, because I never labeled myself. I never put myself in any type of box because I really didn't think I needed to. I never needed that self validation. I never needed that self label. And I was young. I was only 5. So, like, what the hell am I going to be doing at 5, right?
Right.
But I did see myself as a female, right? That's one thing that obvious, that I was different than a male. And so to see this woman dressed up in the nines with a beautiful suit, makeup, and she was just so impressive. I was like, oh, I wonder what she does. And she ended up being a lawyer. And the way she talked about being a lawyer was very impactful for me, because she didn't talk about law. She didn't talk about rules and procedures, drafting, and everything else that comes with the legal industry. She talked about making a difference in the world and
Mm.
knowing that the legal industry goes into every other industry. And that for me was like, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to work in this industry that can change the world, because that was really what I wanted. Um, just a little feedback about how I grew up. Both of my parents are Puerto Rican, straight from the island. They came here with absolutely no money. When I was born on a mattress after the hospital. There was no crib, no nothing. We were dirt poor. And to see how my parents progressed as I got older, and we ended up having a beautiful house, and I had a great upbringing. Besides all the struggles, they never made me feel like I was poor, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And we grew up in culture. So we did a lot of cultural festivals. My dad was a musician at night and a contractor during the day. Um, and he owned this band which played Puerto Rican folklore and opened up the doors to everything. We became limitless at that point. And again, that concept of being limitless just kept validating itself throughout my entire life. So I think it was just only natural for me to get into something that I felt that was limitless and that I can do anything I wanted to do with it. And I think law is such, like we were talking about before, is very misconstrued. Hollywood loves to portray the legal industry in a really bad light sometimes, and deception and, professional, liars and, all these labels that they like to put in the legal industry. When in the end, that's maybe 1% of of who these type of people are. We are hard workers. We work day and night to make sure that everybody gets their justice. And, we do research and we create narratives so that the judge and the juries can understand the side of the story of our client. That's our job. And as far as me not, because the typical question that I get is, why didn't you go all the way and become a lawyer? Is I found a niche in being a paralegal, and I found it more satisfying in supporting the lawyer versus
Yeah.
being the lawyer. And when I went off on my own, because I did 9 to 5 for 15 years, when I went off on my own and opened up my own business, that's truly when I became limitless. That's truly where I saw the potential of writing the book, creating a podcast, doing a YouTube channel, creating a platform, a safe environment for all these legal support staff that felt unseen, that felt unnecessary. Because sometimes everybody knows the lawyers, right? They know they need a lawyer, but do you necessarily need a paralegal? And that's absolutely, the answer is yes. Being a
Absolutely.
paralegal is not limitless. It is limitless. Sorry.
It is
Um,
limitless. Yes.
and, we are not only there to support the attorney, we're there to partner with the attorney. So we are their partners. We help them, I guess we help them with their strategy, right? Execute that
Right.
strategy that they have in their mind. And that is such an intricate part of being in the legal industry. Whether you're the receptionist, a legal assistant, a paralegal, or just a student, trying to get into the legal industry, know that you are important and that every piece of the puzzle helps create that puzzle. So,
Yeah, you said some oh man, you said some tight things, and
Mhm.
being in the industry and understanding it. I once temped for a judge, and he asked me that question. I think we all get asked that question when we're maybe temping or in school or learning or trying to evolve into the individual or the person that we want to be in
yeah.
those careers. And he asked me, well, why you want to be a lawyer? And I said to make a difference. And he said everybody wants to make a difference. He's like, what difference do you want to make? And I had really never thought about that process in there, because to me, I just wanted things to be different than how I experienced them. I wanted things to be better for people than I experienced them. And when he told me that, it gave me an inside look at that. I didn't really want to be a lawyer. And he also told me some things that he's like law and what we think of it and the picture we think of it. He said the legal laws make up about maybe 10% of law. He said, but it's 90% of what people judge law by, just
Hmm.
because of crimes and laws. And he said that it's 90% of law that no one has no idea about. No one even understands about it. And you said it earlier when you say it permeates every single industry. You got to have legal in every industry, whether
Right.
you are somebody on the corner with a food cart, you got to have your licensing, you got to have your, your stuff registered. It permeates all of that. So when you thought about that and doing the changes, because I'm excited about what you're talking about and what you're doing, how did
Thank
you
you.
come across to that part of, because at one point I did want to be an attorney. I did, because I love debating, I love arguing facts. But as I got in this platform and I saw the difference making, or just letting people tell their stories, finding out about people, I didn't want to be an attorney no more in there. I didn't even want to go legally that way anymore. I'm still schooling, but I've changed my pivot to, I want to do things like you've done things. How did you really know that that was going to be your shine? Like, you didn't continue to learn. And for disclaimer, paralegals are the one that really do the work. I know I'm going to have a lot of lawyers upset with me, but I'm just going to put it out there. I don't
Yeah,
know no attorneys
a
that do it.
true paralegal,
Yeah.
a well-rounded paralegal really does the bulk of the work, which is what
Yes.
I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm not the person that goes to the court and presents everything in a pretty package. I like
Hmm.
to create that package. I
Yeah.
like to do the nitty gritty, and I think that's the difference between, being the attorney and being the paralegal. I'm not saying that none of the attorneys do anything, because that's not necessarily true,
Hmm.
but having that communication and having those strategy meetings, and that's what I
Yeah.
thrive on. And as far as how I give back, because I saw there was a question about how I give back to the community, I give a lot of free time, obviously. And I love this organization called Handy. It's a foster care. And what we're working on now is, I think the best way to change the narrative of the legal industry is not only changing the legal professionals by providing them with coaching courses, webinars, we do all of that.
Right.
We prep the legal professionals as much as possible, for them to be their best selves and beyond their potential, right? Reach that potential and then go beyond that. Because I think that's the problem. A lot of paralegals reach their 21th year, um, reach that executive, paralegal position like I did, and then say, now what? Like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? So, giving them those options and those courses and enhancing those skills and making them entrepreneurs, or making them just a better legal professional to assist in the legal industry, and giving them that beyond the potential opportunity is what
Mhm.
is Eda Rosa LLC. But aside from all that, since our podcast has been doing amazing, the book has been great, and it was just published in September. So, I mean, we're doing really good in short amount of time. The podcast hasn't even been around for a year, and we've already reached like records, like ridiculous records. So, I mean, there is a need, right, for this, and there is a place for Eda Rosa LLC and for Let's Talk Paralegal. But again, I'm more of, okay, I've reached this potential. I've, surpassed all this. Now what? I'm always a now what person. So
Right.
my now what is, how can I really make a difference? How can I take my knowledge and share that not only with the legal professionals, with everyone, with our community, with people that don't know anything about law, which is a good 90% of the society at this point. So, really understanding that sharing your knowledge is crucial, not only
Mhm.
with your fellow community, but with other people in your community. So, we're working again with these nonprofit organizations to create educational materials to place them into the public sector, because I think that's really where we're going to make a true change, is by providing it in our public school system and by giving it to them for free, They don't have to
Mm.
go search for it. They don't have to elect, make it an elective. They don't have to go beyond their core curriculum
Right.
um, to learn what you should already be learning, to be honest with you. So learning the
Now,
basics of law.
Now, with that being said, how do you really get people ready to be prepared? Because it's one thing to start a nonprofit or any kind of business, and then still know that you're operating in a legal mindset. Because the new thing that's been happening for 2021 is people have been more advised to get a lawyer, get a business lawyer, get somebody, so they're kind of prepped just in case something happens, just in case you always have somebody at the helm. Should they get a lawyer, or should they really look into getting a paralegal that will still help them prepare for anything that may happen, just in case they do need a lawyer? Then they have more information, or they're more they got their ducks in a row, in a sense.
Yeah, so short answer to that one. So paralegals cannot provide you any legal advice or strategy, regardless of their limited licensing, regardless of all these new licenses that are coming out in Arizona and Montana and all this and that. They can only abide by whatever that license says.
Right.
But they still cannot be able to give you legal advice. What is legal advice, right? Because a lot of people don't even know what that is. Legal advice is providing you a strategy, providing you guidance. What a paralegal can do without the supervision of an attorney is they can fill out documents for you. They can tell you what documents you need to fill out, and they can fill them out for you. That's it.
Mm.
So if you're
Yeah.
looking for strategy, if you're looking for advice, if you're looking to where can I go for this? Where can I do this? How does this affect my business? Those are questions that you definitely need to go
The
to an
lawyer.
attorney
Okay.
for, because unfortunately, a paralegal's, and we're the only country that's like that, by the way. Just a quick little history. India, Africa, they're called, and really check this organization out. I'm part of them. It's called Namati. It's a global organization, and they're called Barefoot Paralegals. And I'm part of the organization because I love learning about other cultures in other languages, because I know 4 languages currently, going on my fifth one. But what I
Hola.
yeah.
Okay.
So well, my dad learned 7 with 6 dialects, so I gotta
Ah,
catch up.
yeah, you
But
gotta catch up. You got work to
yeah, I
do.
gotta catch up. So but yeah, so I what I love about Namati is it teaches me and it releases that not ignorance, but just not knowing about what's going on in the rest of the world. So there's a lot of Canadians, a lot of Africans. Oh, I love Africans, by the way. They are such a beautiful culture. Oh my God. I love Africa. Like all of it. North, south, I don't care. Love it. Madagascar, love them.
It's like the
Because
movie.
they're just, I know, right? I love the beautiful personalities that they bring to the table, and
Mhm.
their perspective is my favorite.
Mm.
I love India as well. India is a phenomenal, very progressive country when it comes to laws. We're working on women's rights over there for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
but anyway, I get to be part of all that. I get to, be the American of this, new future role. So again, being limitless and being that change can look like anything at this point, and everybody's like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, I will show you. Come with me.
Exactly. Somebody's got to lead the way. Somebody's got to.
Somebody has to be somebody has to be the trailblazer
Yeah.
and the pioneer to this. And the joy of it is that you're taking it to another level. And I
Mhm.
think that's the important part. And that's really what I really call changing the narrative, because everybody has this narrow sense of what law is, and to have people that come into law and give you an inside view to something that you never knew before. I think that's what makes it exciting about what you do and the path that you're on, because others can't visualize law. Like I said before, a lot of people just visualize law with crimes
Mhm.
and justice or injustice, and they say,
Yeah,
"Oh
Yes.
man, the law sucks." But man,
I
that's
know.
not the law. You know what I mean? So
It's the
sometimes
people.
it's the people, and then it's the application of, and I mean, everything has bad things. Like my grandmother used to tell me all the time when Facebook first came out, boy, that was her thing. Now I don't know, she probably right now, but she was like, Facebook gonna be the death of a lot of people. Watch, I tell you, babe. I was like, grandma, like you like something, like this is something new for the young people. Man, she told me that about 15 years ago. Now I had to go back and say, grandma, you about right. Facebook on TV, they in Congress, they got a lot of stuff going on. And she's like, I told
They
you,
in
baby,
trouble.
they wasn't no good.
They in
But
So,
trouble.
my dad was a philosopher, and he
Mhm.
gave me a beautiful perspective on, piggybacking on what you just said. Life is all about interpretation. So,
Mhm.
when we're in the classroom and we're reading our history and we're reading our religious, whatever it is, your Torah, your Bible, whatever your religious constitution, if we're going to say legal,
Yes.
constitution is, whatever you're reading, a book, you're always reading somebody else's side of the story. It's
That's
never
absolutely true.
written. And even if it's a biography, you're still looking at it through the eyes of the writer.
Right.
So this is very, and tying it back to the whole legal thing, this is what law is all about. So
Mm-hmm.
the Constitution was written, which we all think is black and white. But the beauty about law is that it's always open into interpretation, which is why
Mm-hmm.
case law was created, which is why we have rules and procedures that are so different in different states, right? Because you cannot compare the local rules in California versus New York completely day and night. Like there's no like pattern there. But why is that? Because the people that live in these communities and in these type of societies are interpreting their vision of what their state should look like. So even though we
Mm-hmm.
are the United States of America, we're really not,
Yeah.
because we're all very individual. And again, we're the land of the free, but we're also the land of the immigrants. So when we're migrating from our other countries, we're still bringing those beliefs,
Mhm.
that foundation that we grew up in, right? So even Puerto Rico, that's a commonwealth, right? We got what they say the best of both worlds, which we pay a high price for, but we're
Mm-hmm.
not going to go there. We bring our own things, right? This is why we have like Little Haiti, we have like Cuba and Miami, we have, all these different types of influences. Like literally the city right next to me is like Little Brazil at this point. So many Brazilians. So this
Mm.
is why I'm learning Portuguese right now, because we want to make sure that, America welcomes people, right?
Yes.
And their beliefs, but that they need, while they're here, just like if we were supposed to be in another country, we need to abide by the rules, right? There are rules and regulations for a reason. So I don't care how you interpret it, these are the rules, this is what you need to do regardless of where you're coming from. You're now in this country, right? So not to get into politics or anything, but that is what law is, right? Law is red light, you stop, green light, you
Yeah, you
go,
go. Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly.
Imagine if we didn't have traffic lights. How many car accidents would we have?
Oh, we've been in trouble.
Barely
Man,
anybody stops at a stop sign.
Yes.
You know
I'm
what I
glad you
mean?
said barely, because just to see
No,
people roll through like it didn't exist. I'm like, hello. It didn't say slow down. It said stop.
it's not a yield.
Yeah.
It's not a yield.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So,
It's a
if
lot.
we didn't have, there is a necessity, right, for rules and procedures and laws, right? Because if not, we wouldn't be able to function as a society. Now,
Yeah.
Right.
where the tables turn and where it gets like what Carl was saying, where it gets hairy and where the injustice comes from is the way that people interpret it, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, you have the right to an attorney. You have the right to be silent, but I'm not going to read you your Miranda rights.
No.
Mm.
You know? You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, so do I have the right or do I not have the right? Because now you're kind of like graying the line here. So
Yeah.
do I have the right for an attorney and, one will be appointed to me or no, right? Because of you, because of what you're trying to do.
And what they're saying, and the biggest obstacle and challenge is I was in a clubhouse room, and I think I was telling Charlene about it the other day that we have a couple of assignments that it's
Hmm.
inhabiting the clubhouse room and going into these legal rooms, and we go. And I was in this room, and there was civil liberties versus civil rights.
Right.
And I think the biggest challenge that people are having, and everything now, as far as what I'm studying and what's going on, they're basing a lot of things using the objective of COVID. and how they're really pushing the lines with mandates and against people's rights and liberties and those kind of things. And everybody is in the rooms like, man, they going against my civil rights because they making me get a shot, or they making me wear masks. And the big discussion was based upon the rights and the liberties, because a lot of times people have those misconstrued. What are my actual rights versus what are my civil liberties and what I'm allowed to do? And one of the ladies, and I think she was a practicing attorney, she said the biggest way and the biggest example that I give is that you have if I invite you over my house, you have a right to come over because I've invited you, and it's a liberty that I've invited you. So those are your civil liberties. But if I tell you don't put your feet up on my counter or my table as you sit down, then she say I'm talking about your rights, and you don't have those rights. And I think a lot of people get those misconstrued when they say,
Yeah.
"Oh,
But that's like our next mission, right? So I already
yeah,
worked on enhancing the legal profession by changing the legal narratives through the legal community. So by
right,
providing coaching, by providing the Let's Talk Paralegal book, the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast, which is for anyone. But yeah, we do talk a lot of legal lingo. So sometimes, it could be a hit or miss depending on what you know about law. But
mhm,
now is the what's next, right? The what's next of Eda Rosa LLC. So now we're working on what's called the manual, right? I'm not gonna, we haven't
yeah,
had a title yet, but
okay,
walking with the law is basically what we're playing with right now. And
mhm,
so bringing that into communities, any community, any
mhm,
community. I'm not talking about just the low income community, because I'm telling you,
yeah,
even the higher ups don't even know what the hell's going on.
absolutely,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
by bringing that into the public sector where everybody can have it for either a minimal or free cost,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to make no excuses, right? Because we always
mhm,
have access to information. But even
yeah,
that information, as we know, through the social dilemma and through the algorithms of the world, can be manipulated, just like John Mayer said, like
mhm,
hundreds of years ago. So understanding that you can have a reliable source and that the commonalities, right? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to highlight the commonalities in all 50 states. Because again, every state is different. Every state has different types of laws. So there's no way that you're going to be able to find every little thing about every little thing in every state. But
mhm,
providing this manual, very short, very concise, very layperson language, right? We're not going to use any legal terms. We'll show you the legal terms, and it'll have like an index and a dictionary in the back if you want to learn more about that and provide resources as to where you can find more information, sort of like what we did with the Let's Talk Paralegal book. But really, it's just to explain law in a way that everyone can digest it, like even my 5-year-old.
mhm,
So it's the only way that we're going to be able to change the current narrative. Movements are great. My Let's Talk Paralegal started with the hashtag movement. It wasn't even a podcast, a book. It wasn't anything. It was literally a movement to change the legal professionals. I don't know if you guys know this, but the lawyers have been going through a lot with Adderall and ADD medication through law
mhm,
school and
Mm-hmm.
abusing that. The mental illness that's going on in the law firms, the abuse, the negative bias, all this we go through the Let's Talk Paralegal book, and we kind of guide you through what that looks like through our chapter 5 of inner preparation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something that we need to change as a legal industry. We need to change ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. We need to progress as legal professionals so that we can provide that service that you guys so need. But
Right.
in turn, we should also be educating everyone. We shouldn't hold all that knowledge to ourselves. People go to college to progress, to learn more. Some people don't have that opportunity for whatever reasons that is, right? Like we were talking before about felonies and other things, other obstacles that may prevent them from getting that
from
type
either
of
further than that.
education and
Mm-hmm.
getting that resource. There are other things outside of this bubble that we all live in. So
Mhm,
providing them with a manual that is short, easy, digestible, and that they can truly understand, one, what their rights are, two, how to get to their rights, and three, what they can do about it with their rights, I think will be essential for society as a whole. And
yeah.
hopefully we'll get that to you guys by next year.
It's gonna be a great thing just for the simple fact of the education point of it, because a lot of people do not know their rights, and if you would just stop and do a survey, because I love doing surveys with people. You stop and do a surveys. A lot of people are not even aware of their constitution and their amendments and those kind of things. And if I mean everybody
Yeah.
knows one and two, right? Everybody hollers at four if you're in the criminal, search and seizure. But people holler about those things, but do they know the depths of them? And then they
Yeah.
apply them in places that's not really where they go. A lot of that
Yeah.
comes from what you're talking about now. And lawyers have got a bad rap for that because we understand, and I'm putting myself in there already, right? We're understanding the knowledge base of that, but we're not sharing that information. And it's
Mm-hmm.
traditionally haven't been shared. And it's traditionally why when you come to lawyers, there's the stigma of that. Of course, you guys are smart and intelligent. And a lot of times they get a basis of being intelligent above others, which is not the case. They're just intelligent in what they know, because a lot of them still suffer with some of the things that you're saying, the biases, the discrimination, those kind of things that is touching every single aspect of the world. So the dynamic of what I want to change with the narrative is that you have to come from a perspective of humanity first,
Yeah. Put
and
the
then
human
what
back
you're
in
offering,
humanity.
right?
Yeah.
Then what you're offering, and I think this is great, because we'll start changing some of that traditionalized marginalism that they've used to like be the one up on
Yeah.
everybody. Because what you say, I mean, believe it or not, I know a lot of them, and they take this pride within knowing what they know, and you don't know it. I'm just going
Right.
to be honest with you. And and
Mhm.
it takes something. It's work. It's hard. It's demanding. It's a lot that is calls for. But I think the process will be so much easier for all us involved if people will truly understand. And I'm gonna be the first one on the list for that manual, because I think it's going to bring about a lot of light and sunshine to some
Yeah.
people that are in dark places with
Yeah,
their
we're
under.
working, you don't need to create a nonprofit. I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. I've
Mhm.
reached out to my local public school systems, in the Tri-County, which are the biggest counties in Florida, and they love it. And I'm even willing to donate it if they're willing to hand them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer about money. It's about making a difference. And true leaders, true educators, which is what I put myself in, right? Really move it forward. Um, I feel like law schools should reconstruct their curriculum as well. I don't think that pinning them against each other is a good environment for them to inherit, right? Because a lot of them are not inherently competitive like that. I feel like teaching them about teamwork, about humanity, about actually reading the case law, really interpreting it and thinking it through is what is
Analyzing.
necessary in order to progress with that case versus just giving me a formula and 2 minutes to figure it out. It doesn't take you 2 minutes in real life. It's never going to take you 2 minutes. Doesn't matter how smart you are. I've
Mhm.
worked with the best attorneys in this industry. I've never seen one come up with a strategy in 2 minutes. It just never happens. There's so many elements out there. So setting that unrealistic expectation, and back to what Carl was saying, expectation is necessary when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the legal industry. So setting that expectation to the client, right? Letting them know, hey, this is our process at this firm. This is what you should expect. This is who you need to communicate with. This is how you can communicate, what hours you can communicate with them. Setting that in the forefront, making your client welcomed versus a burden, which is a lot of industry, a lot of law firms love to do that. And again, that goes back to the preparation of the legal professional, showing them and giving them those tools on how to manage their own triggers, right? We have to learn about ourselves in order to provide that customer service because at the end of the day, I always say this: bad service, no client,
Ah, oh,
no
wow.
business, no job.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
4
good
elements.
equation. That's a good equation.
Because
So,
then even as you are building out this new narrative for the industry, how really can lawyers show up differently? Because a lot of times it's hard, yeah, especially if you're just coming out, you just graduated, just like with medical, just like with a lot of high industry graduates, they have that loan to pay. So they're more in tune to say, okay, you know what? Let me just get this next job with this big firm. Let me do something so I can get myself established, and then I can do the good fortune and help. my community. But how can they really do that now and still make a
I was just going to
difference?
say that I think we have the formula backwards. I think you need to
Yeah.
work on yourself. I think they need to have access to apprenticeship, mentorship programs.
Hmm.
Mental health should be free and should be included in their law school loan since they pay so much. Counseling. Mental health is not for the people that are clinically diagnosed or that think they need to be diagnosed. Mental health is a process. I always say this to the legal professionals because they can understand this. They are mediators or
Yeah.
arbitrators. They're that non-biased person in your case that will provide you with the necessary tools and the necessary feedback to
To figure
settle
it
your
out.
case.
Yeah.
You
To
see what
figure
I'm
it out.
saying?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
mental health should not be the last thing that you should be going for. You should not be thinking that you need Adderall in order to succeed in law school. That should not be a normal thing. You should not be pinned against your future colleague, because let's be real, the legal industry is super small. So it doesn't
Very
matter where you go to
competitive.
law school, it doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
do. You should not be pinned against your future colleague or opponent, right? Already that's creating that negativity, right? You're already creating that chaotic environment. So they're coming out of law school all guns blazing. I can
Hmm.
tell an attorney that just came out of law school or that is super new to it versus a seasoned attorney, and that should
Hmm.
not be the case.
Hmm.
We should
And that's
all
it.
be prepared. We should all
Hmm.
be understanding, compassionate, to answer your question more directly. We should all, again, put the human back in humanity because we all go through some things. We all have trauma. We all have biases, unconscious or not. We all have different upbringings. We're all from different lives and walks of the earth, even if we were born in this beautiful country. It doesn't matter. Our reality is not everybody's reality, and we need to start understanding that. We need to start understanding that not everybody's going to think like you, act like you. And if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have answered completely different. My business consultant or coach, mindset coach, whatever you want to call her, my little angel, literally changed my life with this phrase. She told me the definition of hell for all of you religious people out there is passing away and meeting the person that you could have been. And for me, that sent chills down my spine because I don't want that to happen. I want to live my life in my true self. And like Kelly Clarkson always says, I'm too lazy to be anybody else. I was a
Child.
hothead. I still am. I am,
Yeah.
I'm a hothead. I'm Latina. We're loud.
You're
We're proud.
Latina. I know you hard
Yeah,
head.
we're loud. We're proud. We talk with our
Yes,
hands. We're
mommy.
very
Yes,
expressive.
mommy. Yes, mommy. All
Yeah,
the time.
so it is what it is. But it's so funny. I always get this, and they're like, "You don't look Latina." I'm like, "What am I supposed to look like? Rice and beans? Like, hello." Yeah, it's like, what is a Hispanic supposed to look like? I got, again, those biases, those,
Yeah.
preconceived notions. We judge people right when they come in the door. I do this really amazing experiment with my coach, with my legal professionals when we were able to do these sessions in person. And I go around the room and I say, all right, guys, we're going to put you in two groups. We're going to put you in group A and group B. I'm going to whisper in your ear what group you're in, and we'll go from there. I don't tell them what the groups are. I don't tell them anything about the group. I don't tell them that they're lawyers. One's a lawyer, one's a paralegal, one's purple, one's pink. I just say I'm just going to put you into two groups, and I'm going to whisper in your ear, and then I'm going to tell you to stand up, and then you're going to move. That's the experiment. I go in, but the trick is that while I'm doing that, while I'm whispering in everybody's ear, they're already saying, "Well, I'm team A. I'm the A team. Oh yeah, I'm the B because I'm the best." Right? So they're already putting labels on the
Hmm.
groups, right? They're already dividing themselves, right? Because now they're saying, I'm in team A, you're in team B, or, vice versa. And at the end of the day, there is no team A or team B. What I'm whispering in their ear is like, you're special. You're going to be in team C. And the experiment is for them to realize that there is no team A and team B, that you are special and that you can make a difference and that you yourself are your own obstacle. Because now you're creating a bias that did not exist until I said you were going to be in team A and team B, which is what society does to us, right? Society
And,
puts us in these boxes. I have to be, when I opened up Eda Rosa LLC, I had to be the Latina, mompreneur, female entrepreneur. Why can't I just be a business owner? Why do I have to be the Latina? Obviously, I'm Latina. Obviously, I'm female. There's no hiding that, right? Who cares if I have kids or I'm married or I'm divorced or none of that is going to affect how I run my business, right? Because at the end of the day, I run my business. I'm a business owner, and that's really all you need to know. I'm the business owner. This is what my business does, and this is what my business can provide. So please stop introducing me as a female entrepreneur or a mompreneur or a Latina and proud or whatever it is. Of course, I'm proud of my, being Puerto Rican and my heritage. I dance the folklore. I do all of that. But that has nothing to do with me and how I run my business. That's just my personality. That's just who makes me up. But that has no effect on how I run the LLC and everything else.
a lot of times we get those, and the directives. A lot of times we could be at fault for that too, because I've entered into things of being the first black, and and you get those, and they're ultimately great achievements when you enter into those, and I go with people on those accolades of that, when you're the first black this or you're the first Latina that. That's
Yeah.
letting you know that you're setting a precedent because of it, which I'm always proud of. But I don't
Right,
like to lead with that. But people have
right,
gotten, and the directives have really come, and we've pushed that as well, because we pushed that agenda. The first black vice president, the first
hmm,
black president. We pushed those agendas to bring light to what really people miss is, why did it take this long?
right,
And I think a lot of times people ride that train is that, yeah, I'm the first this, I'm the first that, and wear it as a badge of honor. When I say that, or I introduce that, or I say that to people, why did it take 2021 for us to start getting these understandings? And why are we so longer riding these justifications of, yeah, she's got to be a mompreneur because I know she's Spanish, and I know now they hit all the stereotypes. I know they have a lot of kids, and they start hitting all of these derogatory stereotypes with people, and we just don't give it the straight fairness that it takes, that you're an educated woman who's opened a business that
right,
is giving opportunities for those in need. And I
right.
think these are a lot of things that we're missing. And man,
It should just be the bonus. I always say
yes,
that,
absolutely.
right?
Gravy.
So back
Yes,
to your vice president thing. Look at all her accomplishments before she
absolutely.
got there. She
Mhm.
accomplished a lot in the legal industry. I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on this, but her accomplishments, what she actually accomplished, and how she got to where she got to, that's what you need to focus on. The
Yeah,
fact that
because
she's the first black, amazing, by the way. I think that was great. And a female, yes, okay, I get it. We can celebrate that all day, every day. But we
right.
need to start with her accomplishments.
And what
She
else she's done?
accomplished this. She went here. This is what she studied. She was top of her class. She was this. She was that. That's what the headline should
Should
be.
be.
And then, by the way, if you didn't notice, she's, black and Indian, right? Or
Mhm.
whatever, Middle Eastern. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not,
Mhm.
trying to be like Xing out who I am, because
Right.
there's no hiding that. My name is Eda Rosa. Like, hello, there's no other way that you don't know that I'm not, not white kind of thing. Um, so, these are things that are obvious. Obviously, I'm a female, right? So these are obvious things, right? And highlighting that obvious is not really what I'm going for. I'm
Mhm.
trying to change that narrative. I'm trying to say, these are my accomplishments. Let's Talk
Right.
Paralegal is the first non-lawyer podcast to hit the top 10 of the Google podcast. That's my
Right.
accomplishment, right? In less than a
Facts.
year. We haven't even completed the year. January will be the year. Okay.
Good
We
stuff.
have over 4,000 downloads in the first 5 months of the podcast. That's an accomplishment.
Mhm.
We
Mm-hmm.
sold, actually, I don't really know how many books we've sold, but we've sold a lot of books in less than a month. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
now those are the things. And on top of that, I'm a mom of toddlers. I'm happily married. I'm a Latina. Whatever.
That's
You
all
can
the gravy, though. That's all the
you can just
gravy.
that's all the gravy on top of the beautiful, wonderful biscuits. Because I am a chicken and biscuit girl. I love my chicken and biscuit, fried chicken.
I
Yum.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Because
I love it.
it also becomes part of the double-edged sword, because without
Right.
having those mentions, then you're kind of washed away, right? So then that's where it's kind of, and it played a role too for a lot of Blacks, that if you got into a space, now is it just because I'm a number, or you pay attention to what I did do?
Right.
Have gotten to certain positions, a lot of times they just slid
Right.
in
Yeah.
because of these
But I think
factors that
the
they
the
checked off.
Simone Biles of the world, and I think the
Mhm.
Serena Williams of the world have really changed that narrative, to be honest with you, with all their God sent talent.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
so again, the accomplishments first, and then you can put whatever you want, little sprinkles on the ice cream. I think
Exactly.
that's what it should be. Like, these are my accomplishments. This is what we've done, and this is really team effort, right?
Mhm.
You don't do it alone. Serena Williams definitely didn't do it alone. Simone
No.
Biles definitely didn't do it alone. Understanding that that person that you see is not alone, that you do need a team. Because I think another thing that goes with being a female or being an entrepreneur in general is that everybody thinks we do it alone, and that's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
not the case. I think Rachel Hollis said it the best. Yes, I have a nanny. Yes, I have a house clean, somebody clean my house when I can't. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, understanding that it's okay not to do it on your own because it's physically impossible is okay. It's
Mhm.
not going to make you less of your accomplishments are not going to be seen as less because you're not doing it all and you're just a human like everybody else. You're just an achiever,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
So understanding that, and again, putting the human back in humanity, being compassionate and understanding, I think is just overall the message that we're trying to spread, especially in the legal industry.
And I
Yeah.
definitely
Good
wanted
stuff.
to, because as always, we always come up on that time. It's like it almost sneaks up on us.
Yo,
But I
it does
wanted to
because the
make sure
conversations be fire.
that I wanted to make sure that we definitely got people, because it's an accomplishment to have, um to reach these goals, these heights that you've reached, especially with the podcast. Most people are like, should I start one? Should I not? Start a podcast that makes sense, that gives value. Because Etta did, and you heard her. She's knocking it out the ballpark. Not
Eda
what top
Rosa.
you said? Come on now. So get to this podcast. It's on Buzzsprout. I've dropped the link in the chat. We'll drop it again. Just wanted to put it up on this screen. Etta, tell them where the folks can find you.
Oh, yeah. So everything that we're doing, our book, the podcast, YouTube channels, all our social media outlets are on our website, which I think she just put up on the screen. It's at eddarosallc.com.
You see, she got
You
a
can
website,
also
y'all. She got
Eda
a
Rosa.
website.
You gotta say it quick,
She's not sending you to her Instagram. She got a
That's right.
website. There you
You got a
go.
Yeah.
website. Eda
So go
Rosa.
on my website. You can find everything there because we even have an events page, so you can see everywhere that I've been, everywhere that I'm going to be, and kind of follow along the Eda Rosa LLC platform in general. I have hardcore fans. I have to say, they are
Yes.
phenomenal. They literally every time I drop an online shop product or something like that, they're like on it. So I have to give a thanks and a shout out to my LTP community.
Shout out.
Let's
Shout
Talk
out.
Paralegal, because they have been phenomenal. The Let's Talk Paralegal movement was actually a passion of mine. It was a passion project, and look where it is now with a book and a podcast. And you can actually download the podcast anywhere, but I always like to shout out Buzzsprout because without them, I would be nowhere. They were amazing to me. They give me free access to the Podfest, which is like $100-$200 that I save. They're really awesome. They're really nice, and they always tell me my achievements. They're like, "Girl, like they're just my biggest supporters." So I always like to give the Buzzsprout. But you can listen to it anywhere: Apple, Google, all of them, Spotify, iHeart. We're on literally every single one. We just reached that goal like in February, which was like close to 2 months of the podcast. So yeah, so it was really nice. But
Good
yeah,
stuff.
definitely shout out to Buzzsprout. I got to shout out to them. They've been amazing.
Shout out to the Buzzsprout people.
Well,
Shout out. Yes. Great stuff.
we
Great
hear
talk.
some positive stuff about Buzzsprout as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're just it's a community. It's more like a community, and they really support you, and they really like if you need that handheld I needed it. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what the hell a podcast was until I started listening them to myself. But all the little intricacies that come into running that podcast is so overwhelming,
Yeah.
especially for somebody that's in the legal industry, right? Nothing to do with tech or recording or anything like that.
Woo,
So
yeah.
yeah, so they've been a blessing. I have to say, again, you don't do it alone. So yeah.
Yeah, you got and you have friends. You got friends. You got definitely friends with us. You know, me and you on the same plane. I'm just loving what you're doing. So you know you got my support all the way around. Because we
Thank
changing the
you.
narrative. You're gonna look around in the year 2025 and lawyers. I give it that time just because I'll be in the realm without that time. But I look at it as the narrative is gonna so much change with the saturation of understanding and knowledge that's out there. And not only that, with the new realm that's coming in of changing the traditional. And that's
Yeah.
really what I use as my topic, is what I talk about. I just want to change the traditional because the old folk, the old boys club, the old whatever you called it before, you know, whatever realm you was in, it's time to look at things with a new eye and a new perspective. And that's really changing the narrative. Not that we're not trying to change the basis of what law is, how, you know, but we're trying to change the basis of how it's applied, how it's understood, and how it's made available to others to understand. So
We
we
have
all could be
to.
following the same laws. Like we have different understandings of the law. You talk to three people about one law, they give you three interpretations. So
Absolutely. Life is all interpretation. I just said that, right?
yeah, yeah. So no one's understanding, but this is good stuff. Charlie, tell them what you got, because I'm just, you know me, I'm super hyped on this stuff.
Well, before I definitely wanted to give another show to, it just says Facebook user for me, but
I
it
was
says
trying to see who that was.
the law works for those who know how to work the law, and that came
Color
Right.
of law.
from the Color of Law book, if I'm not mistaken.
So
But
true, so
that
true.
is very true,
I'm
and
actually gonna write that down.
I just wanted to say real quick that if you guys know of anybody, it is about that time. 2022 is coming up. I am helping
Yes.
people get their website content strategies together. So no more messy websites, no more you struggling what to put on it, how to get it together, and you're actually creating the content to funnel people properly. So if
Yeah.
you need that session, I know you need that session. I know y'all out there. I get hit up with questions all the time.
All
So if
the
you want to
time.
sit down for a 90-minute session, hit me up,
Oh,
go to strugglesite.com and let's get it
generous.
together. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
90 whole minutes with a web developer.
Yes.
I'm a
With a
website
web, you
architect, so I
can't,
do it all.
and she gonna
So
work
You're
you
not
for
gonna
90
get that.
minutes.
You're not
And
gonna get. Trust me, you're not gonna get that. I've
you're not
looked.
getting, and after
yeah.
January 1st, this is even going away. I'm putting together a whole new service to bring this all together as one. So yeah, I'm gonna highly advise people to get it together today because
Yes.
90 minutes
I
is
love
very
Carla.
rare for you to sit down.
Yes, 90 minutes is a lot of time, and there's so much that you could do in that. And I do say, give kudos to Charlene. She's done my website, and the service and the knowledge and understanding she has of progressing your strategy to places that you not even have thought of. I don't care how you thought about your strategy plan. Like when she puts it together on those websites, it's just phenomenal. And the reach,
Investing in
yes,
yourself and investing in your company and knowing when to invest, how to invest is imperative
yes.
to the success of your
Yeah.
business. Your
Mhm.
website is your no matter how much social platforms you have, your website is the home of your business, whether
Yes.
you have a brick and mortar or not, and it's what identifies you.
Preach,
So
girl.
definitely
Come on.
understand. My IT team is with me 24/7. Like I never
Now,
let them go.
can you say
I
that again,
My
Etta? Your who?
my
Who that
my
who Etta?
my
Who?
IT team is with me 24/7 when she answers Telegram.
Uh-uh.
listen. What I have a WhatsApp chat with my IT team. They are the heartbeat of my business. They're the ones that
Yeah,
upgrade my website. They're the ones
Come
that do
on
the
now.
SEO. Listen, you have to understand that your website is imperative. So definitely take up Charlene's business there.
yes.
Thank
Take up
you.
Charlene business because she
Because
is my
by the time
IT.
by the time 2022 comes, God forbid there's anything else that happens, people are not trying to hear that you need some more time and come to my IG. Stop it, because IG shut down. I think IG and Facebook shut down like 8 times this year.
But this
Telegram
is,
too.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, when all your social media outlets either non-exist, because we all remember the MySpaces of the world,
Yes.
they're non-existent. Where is your presence in
Mhm.
the electronic world? So
Yeah,
understanding that your website is literally your face of the business is
you
super. I mean,
control
I
it.
literally had my IT team. I've revamped my website like 3 times. Every year, every 6 months, we go through it. We're like,
What you
okay,
saying?
no, you gotta do it.
Let's
You
say you
gotta
got
do
to
it.
do
What got to go? What can
Yes.
Yeah,
come
what
on
got
What
now?
to
can we
go?
add? What can we subtract? Literally, you can do everything. You can even set up a consultation through our website. Like that's how interactive our website is. So,
It's all about planning it
Bombs
out
drop.
and then laying it out, and it becomes like a no stressor when you plan it and then knock it out.
and you can create so much automation. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
everything can just be automated. Like people, you don't have to call me to schedule some time with me. Just go on my calendar, pick a time, and that's it. You're done. Like super easy in 2 seconds. You
Exactly.
can pick whatever you want. You know what I
That's what
mean?
I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
Exactly.
about.
It's like automated, bro. Come
You got
on.
to
You
get
Yeah.
know?
automated. Look, the fun thing about it is the best thing about it is having someone like Charlene. She's doing all of this
Oh,
stuff, and
do your research. Definitely do
yes,
your
I
research
don't
because
give her. She doesn't
there's some
get the
lemons
shine.
out there.
Yeah, that's something that she doesn't get the shine like she's capable, but she's getting the shine now. People are wising up to where she at. Cause we talking about somebody been doing it 20 plus years, y'all.
Yeah,
And I'm
get
talking
it.
about everything from coding to developing to architecture to bringing the whole nine. Cause I ain't know nothing about nothing, and she just gave me a whole new understanding of what it takes to run things. So that's why I say she my IT person that I call when she answers Telegram, and I call her.
I gotta give my team a better name though, because they do a lot more than just IT and the technical side. Like
Yeah,
you were
you
talking
got to
about
get like,
Charlene. They give me
yeah,
ideas. We have strategy meetings as far as
yo,
content
this
and
is for
stuff
La
like that.
Rosa.
It's
That's
just,
that
it's
they're your full
amazing.
power. Yeah,
That
they're
shit,
your full tech
Oh,
power right there.
I love, like, I don't know what I would do without them. I mean, again, I don't do this on my own. There's just no way,
yes,
there's just
yes.
no
Hmm.
way you can do this. And editing podcasts and, I mean, yes, I do find myself sometimes editing because I don't like how they edit sometimes. But
Uh
anyway,
oh,
that's just
uh
a
oh,
whole,
uh oh.
that's
That's
just,
something for
that's,
another show.
We can
That's for
we can
another
work that
show.
out. They can work that out.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can work
I'm
That's for
kidding.
another.
I'm
That's
kidding.
for
They do
another
a great
show.
job. They do a great job. It's just the transitions
Oh,
sometimes are a little
yeah.
stressful.
They hard to do. I mean, from someone that does editing, you don't catch those transitions, man. It is a lot of work.
It
For
is.
the intro that you see on our show, it took me about an hour and 15 minutes to kind of get that somewhat near. And it's not perfect because some people have shown, some editor people have said, yo, I saw that glitch there. You didn't think nobody knew about it. And I
Really?
was,
Really?
yeah. So, yeah, I know. I was like, really?
they
It took me an
can't
hour
help
and
it. They
15
can't help
minutes.
it.
And it's
You know
only
what
like
though? But the
30
feedback is
seconds.
great. I'm gonna tell you this, just a
Mhm.
side note. The feedback is amazing. I had for the first season of my podcast, I had those virtual backgrounds, and people are like, "Your virtual background's pretty distracting." And I think
Oh,
after the
wow.
fifth time,
Yeah.
of hearing this, I'm like, I think I'm gonna get rid of the freaking virtual background because apparently it's distracting.
It's
So I
distracting.
did, and my downloads have been great. So sometimes feedback is necessary.
Yeah. Yes, it
Definitely.
is. It is. So I definitely did. I told them I'm gonna work on that glitching or whatever they saw. I still trying to catch it because I don't know what it is. To me, it looks like a masterpiece, but I'm not. I'm not the professional. So
It's always a masterpiece. What are you talking about?
look, we didn't spend time. We did had a wonderful time. I get you guys go check out Charlene's website, thestrugglesite.com. Get so she can help you
Yes.
get your content strategy together. Also dropping our
And I
website
got
will be
Carl.
dropping on November 1st. It's going live. If you go now,
Woo
you see the countdown. Yes, Real Talk Live Podcast.com. We're gonna be going live, and you're gonna be able to go on there. I'm not gonna say everything because I got like in trouble last time I said that on the show, and I'm not the person that put that together. So I just go check it out on November 1st. You'll see what's on there because I said everything gonna be on there, and somebody told me I ain't say that. So I'm not gonna say that what's gonna be on there, but it's gonna be some good stuff on there. You'll be able to book. I know you'll be able to book for that. We got the panels coming up in 2022. I'm trying to remember everything. Also, go to my website, carlshawnwatkins.com. We're going to be dropping the vulnerability toolkit. What's the name? I got the website up in that, Charlene. I had not give it to you, but I'm gonna give it to you right now. Cause
Okay.
it is on the website. I'm trying to do things professional and no more of that Googleness. We going with the straight. It's on there. I've
Good
created
Lord.
I created
I
a
try
wait
not to say
list.
anything. I try not to say anything.
Yes. Some people try to push you in the corner like the cats. After a while, you got to come out scratching. So, yes, we got the vulnerability toolkit. We're going through the 4 steps of just getting you transformed. 4
I
modules.
love it.
That's it.
That's
Get you
amazing.
transformed.
I'm definitely gonna get that one.
Yes.
Send that to me.
So we're going to do
Oh,
it.
and a quick shout out. I don't want to
Shout out.
dismiss the comments. Carla Wolf, I'm definitely coming to your house because if you're making pasteles,
Carla.
that is the one thing that I
Yo.
cannot make. So
Yes. Carla Wolf, thank you for
send me your
being here. Thank you.
address. I'll be right there. I will do
Yes.
that. And of course, law is fun. It's educational. It can be
Mhm.
anything you want it to be. Again, life is all about interpretation, and that is my motto for the rest of my life. So definitely understanding and being comfortable with the uncomfortable. So yes, law is amazing.
Yes, thank you, Carla. We've had Zoom talks. We got to catch up again because Carla is amazing. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Love her.
the knowledge that this woman have, the book she's written, like it's just phenomenal. We got to get her on the show as well. She'll take you to another stratosphere with what she knows, and
I'll
I
be there.
just
Count
love,
me in.
I love being around smart people. That's the only way that you can get smarter. Can't be
That's right.
around dummies. Can't teach me nothing. So
Every
I'm
day
gonna
you
be
learn
around.
something.
That's
Every day you
it.
learn something.
So we thank all of y'all for coming by. Tommy, thank you for joining. Gabe, thank you as always, man, putting a
All
show
the
out there. We
time.
appreciate you for coming out, man. Carla, thank you again. It has been wonderful, dear. We gonna send you a version of this show so you can put it out there. You can actually put this on your podcast so we can blow up, so we can be part of them first
Well, I
5,000
do. So
downloads.
all my just FYI for everybody that's listening here now or on the replay, every I guess appearance that we have is going to be placed on on our website in our appearance tab. So that'll be
Oh,
available to you guys in November. Yeah, so
yeah.
you guys will be on
Okay.
there. I've been on like several other ones before this one. So all of that is going to be on there so you guys can just click on replays and just watch them all day.
I told you,
See,
y'all
that's what
better
I'm
watch
talking
it.
about.
We
Make it
blowing up.
easy.
We already we already passed Clarkson. We going Oprah territory next. We going Oprah.
Hey, I love my
You'll be
Kelly. I
so
love my
fun.
Kelly. She's
Hey,
amazing.
I love Kelly. I love Kelly, but I got to shoot. I got to shoot higher. We got to
Well,
try
you
to
gotta
get it.
shoot high. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we got to
Kelly
try
just
to get
started.
Oprah
Okay.
trying to
She's
step.
only on her third
You know,
season. Like
yeah,
Oprah was there for like how
Third,
she's
many
third
moving
seasons?
up.
season is like 4 decades in TV world.
This is
This is
true.
true. This is
Look,
true because there's a lot of
don't
work
mess
put
with
in
my
on.
Kelly.
Kelly is my
Everybody
girl,
in my
though.
family, it's so funny. Everybody in my family. What I love about her is that she's so raw, and I'm like,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah,
we
I
need
love
that
her.
more. We
She
need
might
those.
have a little Latina in her. We have to check it
That's
out. She
right.
might
That's
have a
what I'm
little
saying. She's
Latina.
from Texas though, because Texas do it big. So I don't know,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. I
All
know.
right, y'all. We can talk forever. Charlene, take us out. I took us in. Take
Thank
us out.
Thank you, everyone. As always, we had an amazing show. Well, you
Yes.
know how we do. She's coming back. We just got to figure out the
Part
days.
two.
I didn't want
Charlene.
to say part 2, but she coming back.
No, her middle
Um,
name is part two. Everybody comes on. They getting a part two. I don't care when it is, what it
because
is.
we have just been so blessed to have amazing, amazing,
Yes.
amazing people on the show
Yes.
who's helped the
Absolutely.
show reach the levels that it's reached, to the point that we had to have days in the week. I
Yes.
cannot wait to see what we're gonna have planned because we have our own schedule time to chit chat, to see what we're going to do for 2022
I'm
because we want to
yes.
elevate us and our communities, and we just can't wait. So
And there
thank you
we go.
guys. Thank
Thank
you
you
for coming
guys.
through, and we will see you Thursday. Because Thursday
Thursday.
we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do a couple of things differently on Thursday, but can't wait
Yes.
to see you guys.
Can't wait to see you. You guys come back 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Real talk with Carl and Charlene. You guys have a great rest of your week.
Peace.
Peace.